Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me in this particular video. Now, if you are to take 10 million Kenya shillings from a bank as mortgage, you are to take 10 million Kenya shillings. That is a mortgage of 10 million, 10 million Kenya shillings to build a house. You know, everybody wants to live in a very good house, and that one is everybody's dream. So you take a 10 million Kenya, or you even qualify to take a 10 million Kenya shillings from a bank as mortgage. And then the bank is going to tell you that you can be able to pay this mortgage. So repayment period here is going to be 20 years. So you repay this amount for 20 years. All right, for 20 years, 10 million Kenya shillings as a mortgage from a bank. You pay this amount for 20 years at an interest rate. Interest at an interest rate is 14.5% per annum. All right, at an interest rate of 14.5% per annum. Now, how much are you likely to pay? How much are you likely to pay per month? All right. Now, look at this. Very interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, you might not understand the dynamics of a mortgage, but sometimes it can be very expensive as compared to giving yourself a time to invest that particular amount and actually raise that 10 million Kenya shillings. And in this particular video, we are going to compare which one is the best between taking a mortgage from a bank of 10 million and paying it with 20 years and actually investing the same amount in a money market fund account, and see how long it's going to take you so that you can be able to raise the 10 million. But first of all, before we get even into money market fund account, I want us to find out how much are you going to pay when you pay an installment of whatever you are going to calculate here. How much are you going to pay per month? And after you have paid for 20 years, how much will you have paid the bank back? The principal plus the interest. All right, look at this. Now, a mortgage of 10 million, repayment is 20 years, then interest is 14.5% per annum. So the total installment that you are going to pay, we are going to say here, an installment is equals to loan borrowed, you divided by a present value interest factor of an annuity, and then R in percentage and in years. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our installment is equals to loan borrowed, of course, is 10 million Kenya shillings. 10 million Kenya shillings. Then our present value interest factor of an annuity, here we are going to use a compounding formula, and you are going to say our present value interest factor of an annuity is 1 minus 1 plus R raised to power negative n minus 1. No, raised to power negative n divided by R. All right. And if you solve this particular formula, so our installment is equals to be 10 million divided by 1 minus 1 plus. Now, remember, our interest rate here is 14.5%. If you put this one is in decimal format, it's going to give us 0.145. So here is 0.145. Then you raise to power negative 20 because you are paying the loan in 20 years. Then you divide by 0.145. All right. Let's see. Now, if you solve this one out, our installment is going to be 10 million divided by, now let's solve this the denominator here. All right, this is 1.145. then you less you raise to power negative 20, all right, then 1 minus that, all right, then divided by 0.145. that is 6.44. that is 6.45, ladies and gentlemen. 6.45. Now we are going to take 10 million divided by 6.45. 10 million divided by answer, and that one is 1,553. So an installment of 1 year, is going to be, our installment of 1 year is going to be 1,553,567. Now that is 1 year installment. Now let's divide this one by 12 to get monthly installment here. Monthly installment, and we are going to get this, divide by 12, you get 129 Now, ladies and gentlemen, very simple. You take a mortgage of 10 million, you repay in 20 years at an interest rate of 14.5%. You do your calculation, you amortize, then it means in each and every month, you will be paying the bank 129,000 for 20 years. All right, you understand that? You'll be paying the bank 129,000 for 20 years. Now, I want us to multiply the 129,000 for 20 years and see at the end of the repayment period, how much will you have paid the bank? Now, take this, so total paid is going to be 129,000. Multiply this one by 12 because 1 year is going to have 12 months. Then you multiply by 20 years, all right? What do you get? You multiply by 20 years. This is 129,000 times 12. So in 1 year, you'll be paying 1,548. Of course, we have seen there. And then you multiply by 20 years. Multiply that one by 20. That is 30,960,000. 30,960,000. Ladies and gentlemen, it means at the end of the repayment period of 20 years, you will have paid the bank 30,960,000. That is twice the amount that you borrowed, because remember you borrowed 10 million, but the amount that you have been able to pay the bank back is 30 million. That means you have paid 20.9 million extra as interest to the bank without considering the cost of borrowing, without considering other charges, you know. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, that's how a mortgage is going to be very expensive. But you know, people get excited because they have been able to qualify for a mortgage. You know, a bank is going to tell you that you can be able to qualify. Your payslip is going to have 500,000. You are being paid 600,000 or 1 million. And your payslip can be able to pay a mortgage or even up to 20 million. And then the bank can tell you that this 20 million, you can be able even to pay for 30 years. And then you forget, when you pay that mortgage for 30 years, the amount that you will have paid, it's like you become a slave to the bank. You become a slave to the bank, you pay a lot of money, and the moment you realize that, it's too late because you're probably almost, or you have paid that debt for a long period of time, you even feel like you are very much exhausted. So ladies and gentlemen, 10 million for 20 years, 14.5% per annum, exclusive of other charges like cost of borrowing, like for example the appraisal fees and so on and so on. You are going to pay a total of 30.9 million at the end of the repayment period. Fantastic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what if I was to tell you that instead of doing this, there is another way you can do this simply because you want to build a house? Remember, you took this amount to build a house. What if you do it, or you do this, or you build this particular house in another way without taking a loan? And that one is the investment way. You put this money into a money market fund account. Which money are you investing in a money market fund account? The 129,000 that you are going to contribute to the bank, you invest it in a money market fund account. And then your goal is to raise 10 million. You invest this amount, 129,000, in a money market fund account, and your goal is to raise 10 million. Now, how long is it going to take you? To raise the 10 million Kenya shillings? Now, look at the wonders of the world here. Ladies and gentlemen, look at the wonders of the world. Calculations are very important. Let me get rid of this. Look at the wonders of the world here. You know, sometimes it's very nice to do calculations before you make a decisions, because calculations can save you, all right? And that's why Sir John Mweri with Exfinop Accountancy and Insurance Consultancy is here to help you with such decisions, all right? So, hey, John, I want to take a mortgage of 10 million now. What do we do? Now, look at this. You are targeting your future value to be 10 million, all right? You are targeting your future value to be 10 million. Now, you will be contributing 129,000 in a money market fund account. So our cash flows is 129,000. in a money market fund account. Now, a money market fund account is not going to give you a lot of interest, especially now that the interests have gone down. So we are going to take an interest rate of 11.5%. And we have just taken the lowest interest rate. But remember, guys, interest rates can go up depending on how the economy is doing. So divide this interest by 12 to get monthly interest. So we are going to take 11.5 divided by 12, and that one is 0.9583. So 0.958. That is equivalent to 0.96. Now divide this. This one is in percentage. So we divide by 100 to make it into decimal places. And here we are going to get 0.0096. That is our interest. So we shall be using 0.90096 as our interest. All right. Now, remember, we are looking for N. We don't know N. And N is the period that is going to take you to raise this 10 million. Is the period that is going to take you to raise that 10 million. Ladies and gentlemen, just like the old days, we all know that our future value, let me put a line here. We all know that our future value is equals to amount 1 plus R raised to power N minus 1 all over R. All right. Of course, with the examples that I've been able to do, you are so much familiar with this compounding formula that our future value is equals to amount, or our cash flows, 1 plus R raised to power N minus 1 divided by R. Remember, our future value is here. Our amount is equivalent to the cash flows, the 129,000. Our required rate of return, that is our interest rate, is 0.0096. That is 11.5% per annum. And then our N is what we don't know. This is what we are looking for. This is what we are looking for. This is why we are here in this particular video. All right. So if I write this now, substituting the values, our future value, which is equals to 10 million, is equals to 129,000. All right. Then into brackets, 1 plus 0.0096. Then you raise this one to power N, then minus 1 divided by 0.0096. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, now I want us to go back to high school where you used to solve these kind of problems. You remember? Whereby even when we had a problem like this, we used to multiply this one by this and then divide by this. You solve when an equation, this one is an equation, and an equation is going to have two sides. This side, and there is an equal sign at the center. So we are going to take our 10 million. At 10 million, you multiply by 0.0096. You divide by 129,000. 129,000 is equals to, we can also solve this. This is 1.0096 raised to power N minus 1. So we can say 1.0096. If you add what is the brackets, then you raise to power N minus 1. All right, fantastic. Now, remember, our end goal is, or our objective is, to find the number of years that is going to take you to raise 10 million when contributing 129,000 per month, instead of paying the bank 129,000 after taking a mortgage of 10 million. Now you get what I'm saying. Now let's solve the equation here. So this is 10 million divided by 0, you multiply by 0.0096, that is 96,000, divided by 129,000, that is 0.74. So we are going to have 0.74 here is equals to, that is 1.0096 raised to power N minus 1. Now again, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we had a formula like this, and we have such kind of a formula, we used to bring this one to here, and so we can be able to rewrite this equation, and we say 1.0096 raised to power N is equals to 0.74, which is this one. Then, because this one is a negative sign, and when it comes to the other side, it becomes positive, so plus 1. So 1.0096 raised to power N is equals to 1.74. All right. Now, remember, when we had an equation like this and we want to eliminate this power, we used to introduce what we call logs. So we are going to take this one down and say N log 1.0096 is equals to 1 log 1.74. Then we are going to divide this one log 1.0096, and the other side we do the same, log 1.0096. Then our n in months, and here is n in months. Our n in months is equals to, that is our n in months is equals to, we say log 1.74 is equals to log 1.74. 1.74 is equals to that, then divided by log 1.0096. It gives us 57.9. That is equivalent to 58 months. 58 months. Now, it means that for you to raise 10 million, Kenya shillings, when you put this amount in a money market fund account that is going to compound this money daily, it is always going to take you 58 months, which is equivalent to divide by 12 to get how many years. So we are going to divide by 12. That is 4.8 years, which is equivalent to n in years is equal to 4.8 years. That is like saying 4 years and 8 months. That's roughly 5 years. So it's going to take you 4.8 years to raise 10 million Kenya shillings so that you can be able to build your dream house. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know, some things are very funny. When you do calculations, that is when you see the light of things. That is when you can be able to make clear decisions. Because when you just take things lightly and say, oh, I can be able to take a loan of 10 million, and then you go ahead and take that particular loan and pay with 20 years. Without you knowing that you are subscribing to slavery, without you knowing that you are registering your name to become a slave of the bank, because you are going to pay that loan for a very long period of time, whereby you could have saved the amount that you're supposed to pay the mortgage, that is 129,000. You put it in a money market fund account, or even any other account that is going to give you compounding interest rate. Not necessarily a money market fund account. You can put that one amount in another investment account that you're going to get competitive rates. You put that money for 4.8 years. 4 years. Just imagine 4 years. It just needs some patience. A little. Just 4 years and you have your 10 million and then you build your house. Now, hata ile unasemanga, what about the inflation? You know, the things that will have gone, you know, there is always ways that you can be able to maneuver through inflation. For example, after 1 year of saving, you can be able to purchase some materials. So you can even extend this period to 5.8 years just to cover the inflation rate, or how the products of goods and services have increased in price. So you can extend this period to 5.8 years. And you know, that 5.8 years compared to paying a loan for, now compare to paying a loan for 20 years and actually end up paying an extra of 20.9 million. What do you think about that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I need your thoughts in the comment section about what we have just been able to discuss here. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Sir John Mweri with X-Finop Accountancy and Insurance Consultancy. And you can see this is what we normally do. We normally come here, do calculations, right? Put things on the table and see what is happening on the ground and make very good decisions about how we are supposed to take our finances seriously. Now today I've been able to share a video with you explaining that whether you should take a mortgage or to build a house of 10 million and then you pay for with 20 years, or you should consider investing the same amount that you are supposed to pay the mortgage for 5 years and actually raise your 10 million to build that particular house. And I've been able to tell you why you should consider investing other than taking that particular mortgage. And ladies and gentlemen, that is another reason that you should stay subscribed in this particular channel, because if you do that and also you make sure that you have hit the notification bells and you give me a comment on the comment section and a like on this video, remember this is all we do and you will be able to gather a lot of information in this particular platform. So ladies and gentlemen, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this particular video and that calculation. See you on the next.